Big Boy's Neighborhood, my good friend D.L. Hughley is in the neighborhood. D.L., why did you write the book?
Well, originally I wrote it because I had gone to Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was doing my other book, and we got into it.
Mm-hmm.
But before, we were going to talk about policing and the black community, and she had Mark Furman on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mark Furman, you grew up in L.A.
Yeah.
The LAPD was notorious, and so Mark Furman got fired for lying.
And being a racist.
Yeah, he was, and he lied so much he got a nigga off. Like OJ is free because
Yeah. Like,
he's so racist. Niggas got free.
Yeah, we gotta let him go. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And
like
that was the dude they had on before me to have a serious conversation about policing. And white people are always, well, if you'd only comply and if you didn't do this,
right?
You shouldn't be dying because you can't pay it. Even a dog that don't comply, he just get hit with a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
He don't get shot or tasered. But I think America's never really seen a person of color die that they didn't think in some way deserved it. Like, have you ever watched, like, if somebody got jammed up for a crime and they got him on video, the prosecutor go, well, everything we need is right here on video.
Right.
But if a policeman get caught on video, they go, we don't know what happened before that.
Yeah. Yes.
So policemen get a pre-tape that don't even exist.
Right.
And so I just decided that, since white people have all the advice, like, white dudes do get shot more than black dudes, but those white dudes have guns.
Right. And I've seen some too where I'm like, man, look how many chances they giving it.
Right.
Like they keep fighting the police. And
have you ever noticed a white dude who shot up a school and got a gun is less dangerous than the nigga you think got one?
Right.
Like the imaginary dude with the black dude, the black dude with an imaginary gun is apparently more dangerous than a dude who just killed 12 people.
I've seen where you also posted on your social media where it's like, all these guys, they get caught.
Right.
And they bring them in alive.
Right.
17 people
so
here.
We know we're capable of, they're capable of doing it. It's how is it like in a Santa Fe in high school in Houston. This dude was walking around in a black trench coat in 90-degree weather in Texas. Mm-hmm. Like, how is a white teenager in a black trench coat in 90-degree weather not suspicious, but two black dudes in Starbucks is? You know what I'm saying? So it's just. But it's a satirical look at all the advice that they give us, and it's the proudest thing I've ever done. Man.
Like, what kind of what would I see inside of the book, which I already ordered on Amazon?
What kind of dogs to buy? Because there's certain kind of dogs. Like if you should get if you're gonna move into a white neighborhood, make sure you get a dog that white people recommend.
Yeah, don't have a pit bull.
Don't have a pit bull. Okay. Get a dog with those wheels on the back. Can't move their legs.
There you go. I'm not gonna co-sign with that, but go ahead. I see what you're talking about.
You ain't never gonna forget a black dude with a dog with wheels on the back.
Yeah, and be compassionate. Like, oh.
They remember that, and always remember what to wear. Like I'm going to buy a less threatening black dude clothing store. So
go ahead now. We can walk in. We know what to get.
Right, and then you're not threatened anymore. Teach you how to drive. Like black people should never be lost ever. Don't ever be lost. Always know where you're going, and always tell somebody when you're going there. Never have. If you have any friends where you have to turn right or left, lose them.
Right.
Don't hang out with them.
Like, I make this turn, they on me.
Right.
You know why I pulled you over? No, sir. Neither do I. Get out the car.
Right. We invented a spray called Potpourri that rids the air of the imaginary smell of marijuana that gets us pulled over. You know. So it's a satirical look at it, but it's based on statistics and things that people have actually said. Because really, in America, no matter what, regardless of our socioeconomic status, we are more likely to be killed by police than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Us, than people of Latin descent, handicapped people, like emotionally and mentally handicapped. Like, and what it is America's saying it's okay to kill you because you didn't do what I said. Mm-hmm. Like, if you shouldn't be murdered because look, if I did something wrong, take me to jail. When I have court on the streets, but I can honestly see white people's position because they have a different perspective. If when they get pulled over police, it's not their policing is different than ours. But policemen, when it comes to people of color, are doing what they've always done. What they've existed to keep us to do with us is to keep us from areas we don't belong in. Mm-hmm. Like you stay on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Exposition. You stay right in there.
You dip into Culver City, you got a problem.
That's right. And every time you see somebody get the police called on them, it's because a black person was somebody didn't think belonged.
When we were talking about, man, just the permit patties and
barbecue Becky.
Barbecue. They are picking now. They got one guy. It's like Burrito Billy. They don't know what to call him yet because
burrito guy.
Somebody was eating a burrito up north.
right.
On the bus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But like that thing that happened in Oakland. was, because of gentrification. Gentrification means black folk get out and Whole Foods move in. That's what.
Pretty much.
Right.
But it really is because people are living together that hadn't traditionally done it. Like black people always barbecued at Lake Mary Park. They always did it. They just didn't have white people to tell on them. And so we're in situations where people are living together that normally hadn't, and that I don't believe that we're that exotic where you got to call the police on us to fall asleep or taking a nap at Yale or renting an Airbnb or selling water or they calling us something.
And those everything that you just rolled off are real incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time there's an interaction with it, look at all the things that black people get killed for. My tail light was out. Or I had a warrant, or I was smoking somewhere.
I was selling CDs.
Right. So it's all these innocuous.
I was sitting in the passenger seat with my girl and my baby in the back.
Right. So that's actually in there. So that and so it's the funniest thing I've written, and I know that the title. A lot of people are like, how's that funny? It's not funny. That's the point. It's satirical.
Hey, and I put up a copy of the book, right? And I also put that I ordered it. It was on its way. And even in my comments, people, when you think how not to get shot, people are like, well, if they complied, if they didn't run. And I'm like, really? Like that's what you think every person is dying because.
Look how many times in the book where people did comply and still died.
Exactly.
They still, Philando Castile, that was compliance. He told you he had a gun.
Complete compliance.
Right, and he died. So the truth of the matter is, to a lot of white America, they've never seen anybody die that they didn't think deserved it. And what they'll say is it's black on black crime. Well, that implies that crime doesn't exist anywhere else. Crime is about proximity. There is no such phenomenon as black on black crime. People who live around people kill those people. That's it.
Right.
Black neighborhoods are dangerous, not because black people live in them, because poor black people live in them. The biggest indicator of crime is poverty, not race. And what they have done successfully, like black on black crime, that phrase is more dangerous than the word nigga. Because what it implies is that we're inherently more evil than somebody else, and they have to deal with us a different way.
Right.
And so we're actually complicit. Like when I watch people, like the whole thing I was mad at Kanye for is because that's the first dude I ever seen put an asterisk on slavery. Like, as asterisk mean, but Barry Bonds hit all his home runs.
How did you feel about that when you saw Kanye said slavery? That sounds like a choice to me.
I think that if slavery was a choice, I guess Harriet Tubman was a travel agent, right?
Like booking it.
She was leading people not to freedom, but to Airbnb. But I think if black people in general, if you write an album that we fuck with, like if you write an album that we feel good about, that makes us feel something, we'll make excuses for you. Like we don't even.
Right.
That's how bad we need to feel good. We'd be like, oh, no, he ain't been the same since his mama died. Like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like R. Kelly. I know he peed on that girl, but if you gonna pee on somebody, that's the album you need to do it to. That's all. So, but I just think that we already have enough situations where our lives. The first thing that happens is, what about Chicago? How does Chicago translate to you shooting a dude in Pittsburgh?
Right.
That is not even. There's no correlation at all. You can't tell me that policemen, policemen are scared. So they got guns, dogs, helicopters, backup.
Mace.
But they scared.
Partners, training.
Right.
They sign up for that type of work.
Right,
That's what I ever understand. Like self-defense, how? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a police officer.
Right.
Like, they're trained to kill. Like, they're not trained to, like, why can't you shoot somebody? Yeah, to disarm. Why can't you shoot somebody like in the knees or to bring them down that way?
Here's the thing in America. Do you know that
they don't even use rubber bullets or none of that anymore?
No, do you know that we don't even keep a track of how many people are shot by the police? There's no official stats for that. We don't do it. You know why? Because we'd have to do something about it. And when an unarmed black person, like this kid Antoine Rose, just got shot. This is what happens. The officer that shot him was fired in January. He was brutal and he was a liar. So they fired him in January. He gets hired by another police department, sworn in, and 90 minutes later, he's killing an unarmed black man. If you look at all the incidents where somebody did something, that police officer had probably been disciplined. He had been, a problem before. And what they do is put him in our neighborhoods. Like white neighborhoods get the Army Corps of Engineers. Black and brown neighborhoods get the Marines. So it's the same. Like look in Los Angeles, you grew up here. That most of the LAPD lived in Simi Valley. So they would come to this strange area. They would get these animals in check, and then they go back to Utopia. They do that. So the same police department. Like Trump says, we of the LAPD, we didn't get their best. We got the most brutal. We got the dudes who was here to kick ass. We didn't get the same dudes you got in West LA.
Mm-hmm.
We got dudes that was this is what we do.
You know what's crazy, DL? If somebody came at my house and I fired my firearm at them, I would have more of a problem of protecting my home,
right,
than the police outside just shooting someone.
Mm-hmm. How about this? You couldn't do in Afghanistan to them what you do to us here. If the military did to Afghani citizens what they do to us, they'd be brought up on war crimes, and America would take it seriously.
Man, there was something, DL, and I'm going to come back to this, that I think it was with the separation of
with
immigration.
The jacket with George.
Not just the jacket, but it was something about the cage that you had made reference to. What do you remember?
Yeah, of course I do. The same scriptures that they used to put black people in chains, they used to put immigrants in cages. And let me tell you something. In California, you can't even put chickens in cages like that.
That's what it was.
You can't. Wow. You have cage free. You can't treat broccoli the way you treat the people that pick it in this state. You can't do to them. Animals that you're going to slaughter for consumption, you can't treat like we say it's okay for them to treat. You can't do it. So there is whether America likes to admit this or not, they have no problem in Texas. A Latin kid he's peeing outside and peeing on a guy's truck or close to a guy's truck. They choke him to death, him and his wife. They go to trial. It's a hung jury. They can't decide that a murder I just watched was a viable murder. The only way you should be able to kill somebody is if they're if they're in the process of hurting you or taking or somebody you love. Lethal force is too easy to use here.
Wow.
And it's always applied unfairly to us. So ultimately the book is about all those things, but I know that people have to laugh. It's the funniest thing I've ever written, even though none of that stuff is funny. Right. But I think things only matter when the stakes are high.
I got to ask you, man, Trump. Man, where do I start?
He's a racist.
Right.
But not only is he a racist, but if you fuck with him, you're a racist.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You can't. Let me tell you something. Before they used to say, well, he doesn't mean all that. He doesn't mean. Look at what he's done to the Muslims. Look at what he did to Puerto Ricans. Look at what he's doing to immigrants right now. That's on purpose. Look at the things he says. Look at he said they're coming across our borders, infesting. Who says stuff like that? Look at what he talked about these shithole countries. These. If you fuck with Trump, you even if you're not a racist, you condone it. Mm-hmm. Like if me and you riding together and I pull over and I do some dirt and you with me, the police don't buy that you was just riding with me.
Right? Yeah.
They don't buy
that.
I wasn't. You get a co-conspiracy.
Yeah. I'm a co-D.
Yeah, and so is a vast. Do you know that his approval rating is at 47%? It went up since he did what he did. It went up. That says a lot about us. And any black or brown person that think, and it went up 10% among Hispanics. 10%. So these are people who hate themselves. You can't see what's happening. How do you when he got this whole this panel of victims that had been victimized by all these people? Like apparently to him, everybody's MS-13. Right. It can't be just a baby is MS-13 waiting to happen. But he puts this panel of all these people that have been killed by illegal immigrants.
Allegedly.
Do you know that those are the very people that those people are running from?
Mm-hmm.
The very people you afraid of, they afraid of. Mm-hmm. So we can't have a situation, and they're in these situations because they close the border artificially. So these people now try to get across, and they've taken 30 and 40 days to get across, and now there's nobody there. They're gonna try. Hey man, I'm gonna get through the best way I can. Now they have these kids. They have these children hostages. They're saying, okay, we'll let you have your kids back if you go back and don't go through the course, because that could take months or years. In America, stop playing with me, telling me that we separated slaves from their kids. We separated American Indians from their kids. We separated the Italians and the Japanese during internment from their kids. So that's the American way. Italians used to be niggas before they became white.
Right.
So there were 700,000 of them that interned. So when you look at what has happened and how America has accepted it, and he's gotten more popular, he's doing what they want him to do. And when you look at the fact that his numbers have spiked among Latin people, it means they hate their people. Mm-hmm. You couldn't watch that. You can't love humanity and watch that. Mm-hmm. Those are children. I don't care what language they speak. I don't care what color they are. But you can't tell me that he's more reflective of who America is than any other president we've ever had.
Did you think he was going to win?
I didn't.
Yeah, same
because
here,
I believed. Two reasons he won. Because we believed he couldn't. Mm-hmm. And because we thought everybody was the same. It's all the same. Is this the same? You think Hilary will be having kids in cages?
Mm-hmm.
You really do?
Definitely
you think?
not.
No,
but,
I don't believe so.
Not at all.
You have people now. They won't even, when they won't let you, if you're proud of what you do, show me. If you ain't hiding nothing, show me. Like when there's a video camera, those video cameras are so that we can develop trust amongst each other. But you keep the video until you edit it and let me see it later.
Yeah.
We should all watch it at the same time, but we don't.
Press play.
Yep. In Baltimore, this is in the book, in Baltimore, they saw policemen planting drugs. And police said, oh no, we were reacting this.
Yeah.
This is a reenactment. Hey, motherfucker, this ain't for your opus.
What are you talking about?
We trying to. So it's just all kind of. Suffice it to say that lives in America have gradations, and the lighter you are, the more important you are to American citizens in general. Mm. That's just a true assessment.
Had you ever met Donald Trump before?
Sure, I had.
Yeah,
he was unimpressive. Let me tell you something. I watched 60 Minutes with Stormy Daniels. I watched the porno and it was on 60 Minutes, and that was the first time I watched a porno star with the sound up.
Yeah, right. Let me hear her, and now fast forward through it.
It was weird watching 60 Minutes with a washcloth and Vaseline in my hand. I was like, oh damn, that's Anderson Cooper, man. She said she had unprotected sex with Donald Trump. He rolled out the point. Man, if you ain't worried about gonorrhea, how you gonna help me with North Korea?
Right.
Wow. If you didn't protect your dick down, how you gonna deal with Kim Jong-un?
Wow. How did we get it so wrong, dear?
They wanted to be they wanted a guy who reflected how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
They felt
because you're starting to see so much now, like the lady slapping the teen at the pool.
Oh man, South Carolina,
that girl.
Yeah, you're starting to see everything now. The lady coming at the one guy about
guy too.
you're a rapist and a murderer.
Yes.
Told him to his face.
Yeah.
He's a graduate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's crazy how much we're seeing now.
But it is like he has given them permission to be exact. This don't come from nowhere. This is exactly who America's always been. Mm-hmm. It's always been like people always. Well, he's racist. It's been more presidents that were racist than weren't. Mm-hmm. Having a racist president is not new. It's retro.
I thought that deal. I was like, man, well, when he get in, and people were like, well, he's going to be great because he's not a politician. I'm like, okay, well, would you let a mechanic come in and pull your teeth out your mouth?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, have something in the field. And people, oh, he's going to be great. I'm like, man, he's worse than what I thought. Because I even thought, DL, I was like, well, if he just get his cabinet right. You know what I'm saying? And because sometimes the nurse take care of everything, then the doctor comes and say, "Oh, okay."
The co-pilot.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this, but he made sure he went out and got just as ignorant. 2 + 2 = 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe this.
And you know the only reason he gets away with it? He gets away with it because one of the people that empower him are cowards. And the other reason is because the economy is doing so well. But this is Obama's economy.
We were on every year. Every time you looked, it was going up.
It's like Obama had to drive the car up the hill, and he gets to coast down and say, "I did it."
What's scary too is like neo-Nazis have said before, everything that Trump was saying in his election and the things that he like his bullet points of what he wanted to do is what they have been preaching for years. And they're like, we saw what he was saying because we've been saying it.
I was just watching this documentary over the weekend, and it was white cats, and they were just really, he's our president. He's our guy. And my thing is this. Now, I speak to a lot of people.
Sure.
If somebody said, man, I did that for Big Boy, I'd be like, hold on, man. No, don't put me in that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's never.
Get my name out your mouth like that.
Yeah, but Charlottesville, there's good people on both sides. Like, how do I take a car and run over all these people? How do I challenge you racially to your face and then say, hold on, wait, there were good people on both sides here?
Look at this. He said more about Sarah Sanders being denied an entrance into a restaurant than he did a young girl getting killed by neo-Nazi. Mm-hmm. Like, it ain't. Let's be clear. Sarah Sanders ain't missed many meals. It ain't like she probably had a snack on the way to the restaurant. Stop with that.
All the snacks.
You're right. Come on now with this.
Right.
But he said said more about that. Ultimately, is this: if there are a lot of people who feel like the country has left them. A lot of people, like if you're poor and white in America, Noam Chomsky wrote this article and he talked about how their mortality rates are dropping because they're committing suicide, they're taking opiates. Like when white people get on drugs, we have compassion. When black and brown people on drugs, we have penitentiaries. Mm-hmm.
That's
but
true.
The problem is that there are a group of people who economically are left behind, because if you didn't educate yourself, you're not viable anymore. If you broke and white in America, you a nigga. You are. If you broke and white in America, you have done so. How do you blow a 400-year head start? I don't get that. Like, but those are the people who are angry and they feel like we're going to stop the Latins from coming over. We're going to stop the Africans from coming over, because as if that. What is going on right now, putting immigrant children in cages and families in cages and separating them, that's going to help you open your factory back up, or that's going to help you get off opiates, or that's going to help you get your child educated, or that's going to help you get your health care taken care of? It's all about satiating a hateful through line in America. It's not effective. It doesn't have any efficacy per se, but it does work to satiate his base. They go, well, yeah, at least he's doing something.
Have you noticed, DL, as well, like the way we throw around terrorists?
Yeah.
You know, if it's someone shooting, people in Las Vegas and firing hundreds upon hundreds of, he's not a terrorist. Right. But if you have brown skin or you have an Islamic last name, immediately you become a terrorist.
Have you?
By definition of, as soon as they say it.
We can't have, now your answer is to give teachers guns. Like, that's what you want. Instead of, before we give a teacher a gun, first we should give them a raise, because but look at all of the nonsensical answers that he has for things that school shooting. People shouldn't have access to guns like this. If you need a gun that shoots 100 rounds in a minute and you shoot that bad, you're not a hunter. If you shoot that bad, you should be a Laker. That's what you should be.
Right.
But instead of taking those caliber of guns off the streets, those weapons off the streets, we'll say we'll get teachers guns. Even policemen wait for backup before they go into a building. What a teacher gonna do? Wait for the cafeteria lady? What she gonna
put your net on, girl?
Right. Come on, we gonna wait for Irma. She got that big spoon.
Yeah.
But it's silly to believe, but that works for simple-minded people. That works. We would rather have everybody have guns and teachers have guns than say that certain types of people shouldn't have guns. The American population shouldn't have weapons like this on their streets. You should have a lot of guns. You just don't have those guns.
DL the wall.
Yeah.
When you heard, now Donald Trump ran on the wall.
Right.
And now when we see, the lockup and the separating families, is, hey, I need this wall.
Right.
What did you think when you first heard the announcement of the wall and how realistic and how serious he is about it?
I thought that it was a campaign, because everybody talks about it. But ultimately, everybody talks about what a drain illegal immigrants are, and nobody talks about what a boon they are economically. Exactly. Like, a lot of people break across this border. They get a fake name, fake social security number. They work. They pay state and taxes, and they pay all these things under a fake name, and they never get the benefit back. So they're worth $63 billion of found money that they can't have any. It's not theirs. They come over, they work hard, and also what happens is they literally, California, 60% of the produce consumed in America comes from here. If we didn't have them, we don't have a country. California is the 5th largest economy in the world, and it's predicated on having people who will do things no one else won't do. And there's no reason to be. The only reason you can't work in America is you won't do something people. If you will do something people won't do, or can't do something they can't. Like, in other words, if you won't pick a strawberry and you can't write an app, you fucked. But we want the very people. There was an economist, and he said if we had total we didn't have any immigrants here, that our economy was shut down in 3 weeks. We need people who are willing to be fucked over for the betterment of their family. We need people to say, I'll let these people fuck me over so my children can have.
It's so crazy when people try to say that, like, oh, the immigrants are taking our jobs. And like you just pointed out, like, I don't know, not any of my friends that have ever said, oh, let me go work the fields or let me go do this type of underpaid job. Like,
name me one job
nobody
that immigrants have. Name me one job a Mexican cat has right now that you jealous you to get. And I mean besides George Lopez. I mean besides
right.
When did you ever see somebody go, hey, man, I wish I was doing that?
Or like when you're getting off of the freeway, like I see... And somebody that's of Latin descent, like selling flowers or oranges,
right.
And the opposite side, you see an American holding up a sign begging for money.
Yep.
So it's like, what are you talking about?
You
How
know what
are
I've
we taking
never
your
seen?
jobs?
You've never seen a Latin person begging you for anything.
No.
Except a job. Never. You've never seen it. So how are they draining our economy? What it is against them, we look bad. And I'm talking about the whole of America. These people, how did people come across the border, didn't speak English, take their family, walk through all this stuff, and they can own a home? You should feel, you can own a home in California. You can't own a home in Michigan or Ohio or Pennsylvania. You failed. You lost. And no matter what you do, here's ultimately the truth. This country is getting browner and browner and browner and darker and darker and darker, no matter what you do. No matter what happens. Instead of trying to stop fucking over poor people, you need to get to fucking. Because ultimately, this by sheer attrition, you will lose. Mm-hmm. So you need to start understanding that this is a reality that we're going to have to deal with, and that we also need and try to make that as seamless a transition as possible.
And the documentary I was watching, the white supremacists was like, well, they're trying to eliminate the white race. You know, they want everybody to be brown, everybody. So you do have people on the other side, the way that you broke it down, that really don't want that to happen.
They don't. But we're getting browner and browner. We're getting fatter, we're getting browner, we're getting higher. Mm-hmm. America is not what it was. It's not what it was because everything changes.
What did "Make America Great Again" mean to you when you
going back to what they want? If you think that the slogan that tells you that you're going to open up factories and coal mines, if you think that that's how America becomes great again, which you don't need a president, you need a time machine. Mm-hmm. What you want to do is go back to a time when you were in charge and you felt good about yourself. That's over. Nobody gets it. When our parents didn't have opportunities, what did they do? They moved. If you're still in Appalachia or some of the Rust Belt where these jobs are coming back, and you stay there, movement is life. But they believe that we can make the world come back to us. That's not only white dudes would think that. Your mom and daddy got if you brown, somebody that loved you went, I'm gonna do something else so they can have better. They believe that we can stay where we are and have whatever we had. My mama, they can open the factories back up. We can go to the lodge and have a beer, and then we'll tell some nigga jokes and we'll be fine. No, that's over. It's over. And if you can't understand that, when they talked about, do you know that in Alabama is considered the most economically depressed area in the industrialized world? Alabama is like a third world country. Like, so pretty soon Madonna gonna go over there and start adopting kids.
And Angelina.
But that's how we are. Look at Appalachia. There are places in this country where they live like they do in Bangladesh. And those are his biggest supporters. They're poor because they didn't have, somebody took, we didn't do. If you're broken white in America, you blew it. You're doing something wrong. It's no reason for that.
When people challenge you, what's the most argument that you hear, DL?
That I'm a racist. Mm-hmm. But which is impossible for me because I don't have a system that oppresses people. I can only tell you what I believe. I'm not a sycophant. But I think that America has a problem seeing itself for who it is. And I think that comedically, that's been my lane. And to me, this book is the funniest thing, and it's the thing I'm most proud of. And it's the clearest thing I've ever written.
And I do want to get back to the book, man. How Not to Get Shot and other advice from white people. You get to a point now, DL, where the names start to become foggy. Then you start to say, okay, wait, the one that was on the ground and they shot him. This one was selling CDs. This one was trying to get his eye. Like, it gets to a point now where you get foggy on what's been happening out here. Right. And we start to look just how a life is just dismissed.
Yeah.
What did he do? What did that person do? Why did they run? Right. And then it comes down to, well, what were they doing before they ran? Right. And that's why, you know what I'm saying? You did not say, hey, they jumping out of a car because they did this and I'm going to go kill them. Right. I mean, and you made an instant decision to take someone's life.
And did you see what the police officer said that shot Anton Rhodes? You see what he said? Look on his Twitter page. Look what he said. He said, I'm not going to be judged by anybody except God and the president judge. I'm assuming he went presiding judge.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I'm comfortable with what I did, and anybody else who doesn't like it, they know what to do. Let me tell you this.
And this was which one?
This was the one that was 90 minutes on the police.
Oh my God. He put that up, and they just did a.
He got a bond. Yeah, he did. Let me tell you something. I know there are situations that policemen find themselves in when they have to take a life, and that's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But the last thing you do is gloat about it. The last thing you be is so dismissive about it. Mm-hmm. You shot a 15-year-old kid in the back that was running away. Used to be a time in America we used to watch cowboy movies, and if you shot somebody in the back, you were yellow. Remember John Wayne? Yeah. Now you're police. And we justify it. Look, I think ultimately it comes down to one word: accountability. If I do something wrong, I have to have a level of accountability. If you do something wrong, you should have the same thing. If I say something wrong on the radio, I don't care how much you did.
Yeah.
You out.
Yeah.
Kill
no
somebody.
matter how many years.
Right. kill somebody, you did something wrong, you were out of line, you out. You should lose your job and your freedom. That's the way it goes. If the same deterrence that they use to keep society safe at large, because all laws is that, because absent law, we would do whatever we want.
Right.
Right? It'd be anarchy. Why don't those same laws apply to the people who are supposed to enforce the laws? That's what I don't get.
And you know what's wild, man, is that instead of seeing the police and feeling safe, you sometimes you see the police, you're like, okay, well, what did I do?
You get scared.
Oh, here they come. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to this day, you still get the, the turnarounds and the U-turns and everything.
Let me ask you something. Do you know a black person or a brown person in this country right now that has not had a negative experience with a police officer? One.
Has anyone in this room?
Natalia?
Anybody that has never had a negative. Have you ever had a negative police experience with a police officer?
I had a cop yell at me.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
just, that's probably the most that I've ever had.
If you weren't cute, you'd have got a lot worse than that. Let me tell you. The minute you chip a tooth, your life is taking a different turn. But you can't point to a person in this country that's a person of color that lives in urban areas that hasn't had a negative experience with the police. Conversely, you can't point to a lot of white people that have had negative experience with black or brown people. The experience they have of us is media driven. That's the guy I'm afraid of because I see him on the news. Most of them have never interacted with us enough to know what we are. Like that woman who pulled over the construction worker,
right?
And she's calling him a rapist. She's never been around him. How would she know that?
Right.
She just repeated everything she heard from Trump.
And they repeat everything they seen on the movies or they seen in the books. Like you'll have policemen are scared because they work in these high crime areas. But they're not worried. Then they'll say something happens. Well, he didn't even see, he wasn't worried about race. You can't have a policeman that's nervous because he worked in a high crime area and then tell me you didn't worry about race. Those arguments don't make sense. But they get to make them because as a society we watched Rodney King get beat. We knew it had gone on. You grew up here.
Yeah, we were like, man, we got the tape.
If you ran from the police here, you took an L. You got your ass whipped, right?
And that was all the time.
No matter what, you got slick. You got your ass whipped. That's the way it goes. They were very brutal. We knew it. We knew what the rules were. So when we saw that Rodney King tape, you can't tell me you hadn't seen many things like that growing up.
Oh yeah.
And then they went, well, that ain't bad. The federal government had to come in and retry.
He led them on a chase.
Right. And America just doesn't have a problem with black and brown people.
You hit him with a taser that freak your body out. He won't lay down.
Right. Right. Just
so let me beat him more.
So that is statistically they believe that we're bigger, stronger, faster, more impervious to pain. Like it's even biases have an effect on people health wise because they believe they give us less pain medicine. They're less aggressive treating us. For diseases and cancers and stuff like that because they believe we're somehow some kind of superhero. They believe it. It's implicit biases that tell them that. So now even black women who are diagnosed with breast cancer, even though they don't get it quite at the same rate that white women do, they get less aggressive treatment, less medication, and their mortality rates are high because people don't see us the same. If you saw us like you do you, we couldn't have these things.
Right.
And that's all this book is trying to do. I'm trying to say these are what you say and this is what happens. So
why should people pick up this book, dear?
If they want to laugh and they want to learn, why do you pick up any book? I think ultimately it entertains you and enlightens you. If those things don't exist, I wouldn't have done it. I think people always say we need to start the conversation. Well, this is my entree into the conversation.
What do you think is going to happen in 2020, dear?
I think he'll win again.
Oh God!
Oh, please don't say that.
What can we do?
Let me tell you why that scares me. Because I thought that yesterday.
Yeah, I think he'll win again, and I think he'll win again because people will think he can't. And I think he win. You got to remember when Barack Obama was elected in this country. When people say I'll do these interviews and go, we can't be racist. We elected the black president. You didn't. You didn't. It was black people, brown people, yellow people, gay people, Asian people, straight people. The percentage of people that voted for Trump, voted for white people voted for Trump just like white people voted for the people that ran against Obama. The majority of white people never voted for Obama. And I think right now there are too many people that don't understand that if you keep this going on, there are going to be more people locked in cages, more people locked away, more things getting worse for us because we're so apathetic. We believe that if you believe now that there's no difference, then I don't, and I think that people now are just so numb to what's going on that they'll be apathetic about it. And I think it's really going to cost people lives. I think look at what's going on in Puerto Rico. When I watch what's happening now, it's almost like you can't believe it. You can't believe what's happening. And I think based on the way that his approval ratings are among white people, he's going to win again.
Hey, dude, what about the jacket Melania wore?
Right. How do you justify that?
Yeah. And my thing is, I wouldn't even put that on thinking somebody would say, like, for one, I wouldn't try to put it on boarding, going to see, going to go see the kids or the detention centers or the separate.
You're the president's wife. You don't get to wear that anymore, ever again.
Yeah, and then to have something that has a statement, if it's for the fake news or whatever it is, that looked crazy. Yeah. To have that jacket on, and
they
what
made
it said,
sense out of it.
What was it? Who cares?
Yeah,
I really don't care. Do you?
And they made sense out of it. You know what it is? They do not care.
They don't.
They don't care. And if they don't care and you don't care, this is what you get. Mm-hmm. We deserve it. We really do. We deserve it. If you sitting around watching all these things, watching all these people be brutalized and all these things happening to people, and you think, if you watch anything from 1939, watch what was going on in 1939 in Germany in 1939. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me it doesn't remind you what's happening here.
Mm. Yep.
Now, if Barack Obama would have had one of those that Trump has, he wouldn't have made it out of grabber by the private part.
But look at what we're doing.
If Barack had an affair with a porno star and paid her $130,000. They would look, and I can go on and on.
If we play the game,
handicapped people.
Let me tell you something. Let's play a game. Mm-hmm. Let's play a game right now. Let's play a game. I'm gonna describe to you what these people have done, and we're gonna play Who's the Nigga, right? Mm-hmm. Had kids by 5 different women, bunch of different women. Lied, went bankrupt a bunch of times. Has Twitter beefs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Fucks porno stars raw. A guy goes to college, married to the same woman, 3 kids all the time. Kids are well-mannered, worked hard, was a shining example. You would swear that Donald Trump was what Barack Obama was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And he's the first affirmative action president. He's ill-informed, he's unqualified, and he got hired because of the color of his skin. Mm-hmm. He's the first affirmative action president.
And you think there's a possibility he'd get 4 more years?
I think absolutely.
Is there something you think that we could do or what we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen?
We should get off our knees and stand on our feet. Listen, I don't understand how people can't look around and be emboldened by it. But some people, and you'll talk to them all the time, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to.
Yeah, they want to keep ignoring it. It's like, how?
That's how you win.
That's how it got in.
Yeah,
that's how it got in.
I always tell people say my vote doesn't count.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we'll see.
Yeah, and I tell people, I say, man, if you don't vote, somebody's gonna vote for you.
No, you voted.
Somebody gonna show up.
No, you voted.
Yeah,
you just did. You. If you don't vote, you did.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody gonna cast it for you.
I couldn't stand all these people. They're just the same, and nobody's alike. They're all
presidents. It's all politics.
Okay, all right. Look at how much like when they let one black woman out, but are appointing judges that are going to make it harder for black people. Mm-hmm. Mandatory sentencing. Look at what happens. Look at how when I'm doing this, so you look over here, but I'm really doing that. That's 3 money. That's not being the president.
And we're about to get another Supreme Court justice that he's about to pick.
Absolutely.
And the way that they held off for Obama wouldn't get his in.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I blame even now. How do you make a bully stop fucking with you? How you do it? Ask him to?
Put hands on him.
That's right. But when we try to do, we need to be, ain't no more of that. You understand? They get it. They know that they can punk you. The reason they have the Supreme Court justice that they got is because they punked Obama and the Democrats, and they said we're gonna do what we want. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to be reasonable.
Colin Kaepernick, did they do a switch on what the message was for real?
Sure.
For real,
sure,
man.
But look at all the accomplices they had. Everybody, even OJ said, I think Colin Kaepernick was disrespectful for not standing for the flag. I'm like, didn't you kill 2 people?
Yeah, right.
You and Ray Lewis are pretty disrespectful for murderers.
Yeah, man.
I'd rather take a knee than a knife. How you gonna stand for the anthem? You didn't even stop in a Bronco.
Yeah, come on, man.
Look. Colin Kaepernick led a peaceful protest.
Yep.
And he's a pariah. Robert E. Lee led a violent protest, and he gets statues. Mm-hmm. And as far as I'm concerned, you should keep your Confederate statues. Just leave them out of black people. Like our neighborhood is so bad and underfunded. We actually don't even know who the dude on the horse is. I'm like,
right.
Why that jockey got a sword?
Yeah.
Is that Seabiscuit?
Let me climb up there.
Seabiscuit.
So, and you saw what they did to where it was, it went from us being killed and police brutality, whatever it is, to you disrespecting the military.
Right. You know what? If you're going to, here's the problem.
To a man that couldn't even sing this, know the
Doesn't
words
even know
to
the
it.
lyrics to the national anthem.
But the national anthem wasn't an anthem. It was a poem by Francis Scott Key.
Mm-hmm.
And if Francis Scott Key woke up now and saw niggas singing the song he wrote about them dying, he would turn over in his grave.
Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you that there's no one in this room that know all the verses.
Right.
No,
if you look
or
at
the
that third
original
stanza,
verse.
it'll tell you.
Yeah, man.
But we do. We get a song, we scrape racism off and go, here, this is what we're supposed to sing. This unites us together. But it doesn't. Ultimately, it's this. The reason that we have a country that's a democracy is supposedly that we can all speak our piece. These black men are saying, and people go, well, that made money. This country provided an atmosphere where you can make money. But the very reason that you get drafted in the NFL are the very reasons policemen are afraid of you. If you big, you black, you fast, you strong, and you aggressive, well, that's great on Sunday. But on Monday, it's the reason you get pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a vested interest in making sure that people are policed properly, that there's there's people are afforded justice in this country. All anybody's asking for is to be treated fairly. But if you say fair to people, it's like you cursed them out.
DL, you travel a lot, and we can see in Cali where it's totally different from a lot of places that you go.
Hell, go to Fresno. That's like going to Kentucky.
Oh, really?
Oh, man. Go to Palmdale. Yeah, let me tell you, California is a lot of things. California is a lot of things. But, where a lot of people live, you have diversity. Go to the middle parts of the state. Go to Inland Empire. Go to San Diego.
Yeah.
So we don't have, California is the, one out of every 9 Americans lives in Southern California. We're virtually the 6th largest economy in the world, but we are a lot of different things. We're agriculture, we're technology, we're entertainment, we're oil, so we're a lot of different things. But the pervasive people in California have a mindset, but that's not all of California.
When was the last time you had a bout with racism or got pulled over or?
Racism is different because I remember the worst example I had.
Give me the worst.
I had and this is how insidious it is. I had this house in West Hills. I wanted to sell it to move into Calabasas. So I was getting my house appraised. My real estate broker said, she says, take all your pictures down because it could devalue your appraisal. I'm like, I'm not taking my pictures down. I'm not going to do that. Come in. And that house was 3 years old. It had been, I just put a pool in. So the appraisal came back and it was so low that the bank thought it was a repo. They're like,
wow.
The only way it could have been this bad is if. So I called and they talked to him and they said, well, I did it. I just didn't think it was as valuable as ever. And it was much lower than the comps. The bank had to give me the fair market value, and it was $100,000 that he was willing to take away from me because he made that decision.
Wow.
$100,000 that you use to buy a house, that you use to send your kids to school or make purchases. But that's the most insidious. That's how it works. Where people, they use that to take something away from you for no other reason than the color of your skin. Man. The kids don't go to school. You don't buy another home. But when you buy a home, it's supposed to be a chip in the game. But somebody else gets to decide that because you lived here, I'm gonna devalue. Just like what happens now. Look. When we move into a neighborhood, people move out.
Right.
Then we move out. Then they move back in. Then businesses come with them.
Yes.
Yeah. In Harlem, I got a place in New York. In Harlem, they got a Whole Foods. They got a Urban Outfitter. They got a Starbucks. But when we were there, it's the same people. It's insane.
Hey man, I go through Harlem now and I'm like, wow.
Right.
The same with our downtown.
Right.
Remember, our downtown used to be desolate. You like, man, you did nothing.
700%. Brooklyn and downtown Los Angeles, 700%. So if it's simply because LA was a bit of an anomaly because it was not a lot of people living there. It's mostly homeless people. But that property is 700% increase in 700% in 12 years. 700%. You can't even afford to live in it.
Yeah. Like I see people now, I'm like, man, this the same street they down here jogging and got dogs and everything out there.
Man, you'll go to a fly ass restaurant downtown and there'll be a homeless dude shitting right outside the window.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
How does this happen?
Like
There's
that.
a whole area in the arts district in downtown where you go walking around late at night, you're totally fine, bars, people having a great time. 1 block over, it's Skid Row.
Yep. The San Francisco, you know what else
they
is like
working
that?
on that though. Don't get it twisted.
And you know what they're doing now? They're giving homeless people buses, and they're sending them out to the valley. Have you ever noticed at Calabasas you see all these homeless people like in the commons and stuff like that?
Oh, they like going over there.
They man like, hey man, you drive down Topanga, you'll see homeless people under the freeway.
Yeah.
Like living under the freeway pass.
Yeah.
Like they moving them out of downtown LA. We don't care where you go, get out of here. And they living under you driving on your way to the mall, you'll see
Like Tent City.
Tent City, literally everywhere.
How do we recover from this, DL?
I don't know.
It's gonna take
I don't know that we do.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think
big. I wrote a book, man. I ain't trying.
You know what it is? I think it's to want to do something different. You have to think that you're doing something wrong.
All right, that's true.
If you believe if America's going well, the economy's going great, so do whatever you want. What is the incentive to do something different?
Why do you think Donald Trump never called James Shaw Jr. a hero? I mean, because we always think about terrorism and everything, and this was, someone came in with a highly assault rifle and Waffle House.
That would have pissed off his base. I think that he would have,
Because he's black.
I think that it would have sent a message that his base didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how everybody else, how we had to, like, they just honored him at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how you'll see things like that. You hope someone would come in and do anything remotely close to that.
Right. Yep.
And then you have it where you save lives, but it's like, no, not him. And not the right lives.
Now, one thing, but when Kanye put on that red hat, he called him, didn't he?
Yeah, man.
Sure did.
Called him over.
Yep, right.
Called him over.
Yep.
Good
So
Lord.
it's just.
And quick on his Twitter fingers for everything else.
Right, but he didn't say that when Eminem went laugh on him.
Yeah, why do you think that was?
Because he's a bully. Because like most bullies, when you punch him in the mouth, they really ain't trying to. He ain't trying to get entangled into no stuff like that. America's. You ever notice? You ever watch the World Cup? You know why you don't? Because you're American. And you know what? We only play games we can win. We'll have a world championship with just us in it.
Right.
We ain't playing. We ain't playing. We want a result. America will have a world championship. You know why we don't play.
We won.
Right. It was Detroit versus San Antonio. Look, we'll call it.
Yeah, we got it.
We can't play when the world is there. The world is there. We ain't gonna do well because the world is there.
Right.
Everybody.
They
We didn't even make it. Uruguay made it. We didn't make it.
Right.
Mexico kicking ass. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's a fair fight, me versus you, and it's not slanted in a certain direction. And I believe he's like that. I believe a lot of people in this country want a result, and if it's gonna be a fair fight, we won't have it.
How's your relationship with George Lopez? I know
love
you guys
it.
stay on the road.
He's my brother. I'm gonna tell you what. More than anything else, and I love doing the Kings of Comedy. I did, and I love those cats and weird. But I remember we were in El Paso, Texas, and we were playing, right? And we got together by doing. We were trying to get a statue for Richard Pryor. We all went to Peoria, Illinois, and it was cool. And we started vibing and we started touring. But we were touring with the Comedy Get Down. We're in El Paso, Texas. And there was this dude. We used to always have to take pictures. It was this dude. He was tatted up. He was tats everywhere. So you could tell he just got out the joint. So he goes to walk past me to shake my hand, and George goes, "Hey man, this is my brother. You gotta shake his hand." And he went back and forth. Like you could tell this dude did not want to touch me. He shakes my hand, and then he goes over to talk to George. And his girlfriend had tears in her eyes. She said that's the first time he ever touched a black dude he wasn't fighting.
Wow.
You gotta look in LA. Look at the one of the reasons I love you in this show is because it looks like Los Angeles. But we have, you never see audiences, my audiences, his audiences all in the same place. You just see black dudes and Mexican dudes, they're in the prison riot. But this time, we laughing and hanging out. This dude, every time, I don't know how many people he's giving money to. I don't know.
I know that.
When that thing happened with the immigrants, we were in Atlanta. We made those jackets that day. And he's taking those jackets and selling them. and giving it to the People's Defense Fund. You're never gonna hear people say he's one of the best cats I've ever met. And him and Ced and Eddie Griffin, and we're brothers. And so to me, it ain't nothing you could say about him or any of them cats that as far as I'm concerned. So because they're men.
Man.
And they solid.
And you always had a good, solid relationship with Ced the Entertainer as well.
Yeah, always. Oh, you know what? And him and wife and my wife are very close. So whenever a residual check comes, I'll see an empty envelope and she'll be going with him.
Right.
Hey, where y'all at?
Yeah. You know they came in today, girl. Go grab yours. I'll meet you down at the accountant's office. Now, if you were on a boat, in the middle of the water,
right?
All righty. You look in the water, you see two people.
Yeah.
You can only pull up one.
Sure.
You see George Lopez and you see Cedric the Entertainer.
Right.
Who do you pull up?
Well, I said gonna float more than George. So I got
you. All right. Yeah. That is true. What's your relationship like with Steve Harvey to this day? Because I know
Steve is my brother.
Comedy.
We're very close. I don't agree with what he did with Trump, and I made that clear. But I love him.
When he went to go see Trump, did you conversate with him?
No.
It was more social media?
Or
you just
well,
didn't
I
agree
hadn't
with
known that he was going, and my whole diatribe was never about him. It was about Trump, and since Trump uses like everybody you see, every black or brown person you see Trump with is a rapper or a comedian or an actor or an athlete, because that's the way he sees us. That's what we do. And they're all a photo op.
He won't sit with Farrakhan.
He won't. They're all a photo op. So now you're asking football players who they think should be. Come on, stop.
Right.
Stop. So my problem was the way he uses people, not what Steve did. I think Steve ultimately was trying to do something he thought was good, but you can't pull something good from a guy like that. He just is such a duplicitous dude. There's no point having a conversation.
Would you meet with Donald Trump
about what could
if he wanted to sit down?
What could I offer though? Like what level of expertise could I contribute to a conversation? Like what am I good at? You want me to help you write a hour comedy? Like what could all of that would be just optics. What do I contribute to the conversation? What could I tell him? If you want to change prison system, talk to people who do that. If you want to change community relations, talk to people who do that. But don't talk to a comedian or a rapper or actor and tell me you're trying to do something. Like, it's great that you talk to Kim and somebody got free, but that's not doing anything about over-policing. It's not doing anything about sentencing. But what happens in America is we confuse activity for accomplishment.
Right. And here, we give you that one.
Right.
Now, look what I did.
Right.
I did this.
So what could I contribute to him? Like, I'd like for him to buy my book, but other than that, like, what could I say?
Well, he's not going to do that, DL.
No.
DL, Terry Crews just was in front of the Senate talking about the Survivors' Bill of Rights and how he got groped and stuff like that, and how he could get blacklisted in in television and just in Hollywood. What do you think about that, man? And how do you feel of, he got a lot of backlash of him actually going up there and talking about it, but what do you think?
Listen, I think there's been a problem with people taking advantage of people, and obviously that is a serious problem. But if you a dude and you let somebody do that to you in front of your woman, that is something I would look at. Like, if you did that to me in front of my wife, I don't care how big you are, I'm gonna have to do something about it. I can't just say that's okay. But to lump them all together, there are gradations of things like that. There's not like murder. Isn't just murder, it's manslaughter, it's murder in self-defense. But all of these allegations are looked at like they're the same thing. And I think sometimes there's a bit of everybody trying to become, I thought Terry was taking advantage of a situation. I don't know how a big 250-pound dude like that says he's a member of Me Too. I don't get it. But
oh wow,
I don't.
Do you think maybe he wanted to say something to? Because I know that there's such a hard time for men to come out when they have been in situations, and maybe
your agent though. It was your agent.
No, but I just
mean my agent can't touch my ass.
Like the intention was there. Like
you get me work, you ain't hiring me.
Right? Yeah.
I'll pay you. If I pay you, you can't touch my ass.
Yeah.
Man, what
I don't get. That's not the same thing. Listen, these women were in situations where their livelihood was at stake. Now I get it. If your agent does that to you, it ain't a lot of agents. It ain't. It's not the same thing. We're not talking about the same thing where somebody else is. When somebody puts you in a position where they could take your livelihood away from you, or they have exploited you in a way, nobody's on board with that. But you're telling me right now that an agent in Hollywood did that to you, and you were so outdone by that. You what? I don't get that. I don't get it. I've had a dozen agents.
What about from the side of if it can happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he jump on the grenade for many people too? Like, if it can happen to him, then it definitely happens over here. Did people want him to be the big black guy?
Did you really need him to say how bad things were for women? We already know how bad. I mean, ultimately, we know how bad things are for them. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, and I'm not in his head. I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you this. If we are as serious about these kinds of things as we say we are, you can't tell me two people, one black, one white, both work for NBC, both accused of sexual assault by dozens of women. Now, the black ones going through the big house, the white ones in the White House. Mm-hmm. Stop telling me about how serious you are about it when you're letting the biggest purveyor of this kind of things exist. Mm-hmm. Stop telling me that. I don't believe you.
What did you think about Bill Cosby?
I think Bill Cosby indeed was a racist. I always thought he had. Bill Cosby did a lot of the things they said he did. I can't tell you for every incident, but I always believe that about him. I had arguments with him to that degree. We had disagreements about that same thing. Mm-hmm. I think that if I were Bill Cosby, I started the Y'all Too movement. Harvey Weinstein, Donald Trump, Y'all Too.
Man,
I just think you can't keep going after low-hanging fruit.
Did he like you? Because I heard he didn't like a lot of comedians.
He didn't like me, and I didn't like him. Even though I didn't like him, I don't think the way they handled his case was appropriate. Mm. I don't think that was okay. I think that you can't have adjudicated something, settled it, and then come back and go, now we're gonna do it again in this from this perspective in history. Mm. Now he's being tried because of the way we see things, and I want to know how far we're gonna go back with this Me Too movement. Like, I get, is it 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? Are we going back to Thomas Jefferson? Because if you think Harvey Weinstein was bad, Thomas Jefferson did a lot worse, but he got statues and on money. So I think that everybody's jumped on this thing and has taken a movement that really has validity and saliency and have made it all encompassing. They're all, like when they tried to get Aziz Ansari and Louis C., they're not the same kind of people. Mm-hmm. They're not. So I think they're lumping everybody in one big pot, and I think that that's not appropriate.
Have you ever had a scary deal?
Or what?
Like just someone thinking, like someone like try to get you?
Yes.
Oh damn! Was I supposed to have this?
No. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I think if you look back over the course of your career, you've been doing something 30 years, and you've been, of course, you wonder if something gonna pop up. But no, never in terms of somebody. No.
Oh, somebody hasn't hit you like, hey, you better.
I had a baby on the side a long time ago, and she tried to jam me up, and I had to have a conversation. So yeah, I've had So I can't pretend. What I've tried to do is to be out front as possible, and if you say something, I done already said it, so what can we say? Right.
How's the relationship with your kids now? And I know that I saw a sit down where you were talking about your son.
My son is dope. My son is he has Asperger's syndrome, but he's dope. He's works with me on the radio. He bought a car, got a girl. He got a white woman. That's rough.
Oh.
I'd be like, tell me what it's like when your mama
when she going with Say's wife and cashing them checks.
Right.
Let's have a conversation.
Right. Don't worry if something happened to your mama. I'm getting me in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Don't worry, it's all right.
Now with your son, I remember I saw a story that you were talking about just the accomplishment of him kind of living in his own world.
Right. Well, you know how it is. Like anybody who has a child like that knows how regimented they could be. Like he's in his own world, does his own thing. His routine is important. So I remember he finally started to learn to drive, and he would only drive his car. And I remember I needed some gas, and my daughter would always go get my gas if I would, And so he said, "I'll do it." And it's about 2 years ago. So he takes my car, he goes to get some gas,
and that was like unbelievable.
I couldn't believe that he would, take my car, go get some gas, come back. And I couldn't stop crying because I really at that point knew that he got it and he was gonna be all right, and he knew that it was important, and I knew it was important, and I just couldn't stop crying, and I held him. I said, "You're gonna be all right." And then I looked at the gas receipt. He got premium. I'm like, nigga, you don't get premium.
You're not gonna be all right. Actually,
you are slow. Who does this? Right. Nobody gets premium gas on a lease. Who does that? I mean, I'm crying now, but now I'm crying because this is a high bill. What is this?
Right. Man, but nah, just watching that, I was like, dude, that's a whole lot of love. And to someone else, it looks like gas, right. But that was like,
hey man, I'm telling you, when you, and there are a lot of people out there who have children that they're dealing with, and they're ashamed. You know, they think they've done something wrong, or they're ashamed for people to know. I mean, he's humanity to me. He's the most wonderful human being I've ever known. It's an honor to be his father. I'm honored by him. I mean, I wish he could play football or do something else, but but now my son hires hookers, and that's the funny thing.
Yeah.
My son hires hookers, and my wife gets all upset. I'm
What
like,
do you mean?
Now my son hires hoes.
But
Like,
what?
Like, hold on, man. Like, he call
What do you
girls?
think
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember they had
Like,
that
as a
back
joke?
page? No, I'm not kidding around. Why?
No, I mean, like, what does he use them for, though?
the
Like,
same thing I use them for.
For sex.
We need to talk.
Yeah. Remember, she's never had a problem with the police either.
Yeah, there you are. Were you a unicorn in your other life?
Yeah, man.
She's wearing a French shirt for crying out loud.
Yeah.
What does he use them for? He has.
So he
sexual
calls
favors.
up call girls
Oh yeah, for sure.
to do y'all?
Not to our house. No, he gonna come. To
Where
our
does
house.
he go?
Bring him home.
I don't.
He figured that out.
Yeah,
Huh?
he got that part. I
Took
ain't
him
gonna.
20 years to get your gas.
First off, right.
Yeah.
But 20 minutes to get a hoe. It's,
Gas.
He's like,
ass,
it's an
and
app for
grass.
that.
Gas
He,
and ass, you say, huh?
he hires them, and my wife gets all mad. You gonna let your son? Because I seen what happened to dudes with Asperger's that don't get no ass. They shoot schools up.
Right.
My son have a bad day. We stay at the Holiday Inn. We gonna stay here till you get laid, nigga.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere. Now get to the back of that paper and call somebody.
My wife, if you let your son hire a hoe, well, if he hires hoes, how is he gonna ever learn about love? I'm like, girl, love is expensive.
Yeah.
Love. I bought you a house because I love you. He just bought a hoe.
Yeah, man.
Maybe I'm retarded. Maybe it's me.
Maybe need to tell me something.
All right. Maybe I need some of you. Give me one of
So
the pills.
how do y'all know that he hires these?
He said, Dad, can I have some money to buy a hoe? What's wrong with you?
Oh, he don't even know how to be slick with it.
How much are they going for nowadays?
Yeah.
You don't gotta be
Like how much do you give him though for one of these girls? Because you gotta get
Top
them the
tier?
right one.
If you
Yeah.
give the right kind of gas.
Like this is, and he tells me all this stuff. I'm not even lying to you. This is.
Oh my god.
He said he knocked this girl off so bad, someone else. She let him keep his money. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Because you know, dudes is kind of slow. They strong. They be. He can lift a chair with one hand, all that shit, boy. She got that Forrest Gump ass. He did. He told me that. He said.
She was like, no, that one's for me. You can have that, baby. Like, thank you. Can I have your number?
Right. And that's his regular broad.
Wow.
I'm not lying, man. I'm not lying.
How many times you think you giving him money to go to a call?
Well, I don't ask him what it's for now.
Okay, yeah.
Now
You just know, right?
Dumb now. Like.
Right.
But he said Dad could have a little money, and then I'll just. But he
Little money.
Is he driving to the hotel now?
Oh yeah.
That's why he got that driving together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell him, I said, if you see a white van up front, don't go in because you know that's the police.
Right. You gotta keep
know
him
that.
safe.
Yeah.
You gotta keep him
If you
safe.
see white dudes dusting in the lobby, then
Right.
the police. Don't go in. I'm just telling you. I have to try to keep you alive.
And you never let him smash at the house?
Well, he can smash his girlfriend at the house.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I wouldn't want that.
So the girlfriend is at the call girl now?
Well, here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Lord
this is what I'm
There-
asking.
there's
layers to
there's
this.
certain things he wants that he apparently she won't do. So
And she's fine with.
I don't know if she. Well, I wouldn't
don't know
necessarily
now.
tell her all that.
Okay, well, all
But
right.
she's Italian. She doesn't speak English.
Oh, okay, no, really, right.
I'm just,
She
I'm just telling you.
doesn't speak. You been gone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's a universal language. She don't speak coming in the house, jumping right into the shower. That's a universal language, right?
Yeah, I don't.
She don't speak. I haven't answered my phone, and then all of a sudden I call you back.
Maybe,
I'm too tired.
You know,
Yeah.
I think when you go
She don't
across
speak. I can't get it back up. That's universal. You know, there's just some things, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just, but he's a dope little dude.
Like all around the world. If I went like this to you in Africa, what does that mean?
What's
up? Yeah. Paris friends, what's up?
Right.
This is universal things. You know what I'm saying? She gotta know.
Right. You coming home smelling like soap we don't have. That's universal.
Yeah, that's universal. Or you smell musty and sit right at your pelvis area. That's universal, bro.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
You come in and drink the orange juice from the jug. You tired. You thirsty. You put in some work. Yeah. You got an
But she don't
IV
live
mark
with
on your
him. He
arm.
don't live with her. He's
With who?
Yeah, he doesn't live with her. He live
With his
her.
girlfriend? Oh, yeah, that
she's
makes it
coming
better.
by. She's coming by.
Yeah, she just stopped by.
Look
All
here,
right.
son. I'm telling you, just don't put me in it.
Yeah. You already put yourself in
No,
it.
I'm talking about with my wife. I'm like, I'm not,
Right.
I don't, because the dude, I don't want him to shoot the house up.
Right. So you're doing it for therapeutic
Hell
reasons.
yeah. I'm like, hey, man.
You're doing it for my safety.
Absolutely.
And yours. All right. Sure,
He's
you're
good,
right.
man. You see what happens, man.
He's
They
a
shoot
good man.
schools up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying?
Plus, I'll be asking him to tell me what happened.
What does he say?
Ask him if they got a Father's discount for Father's Day.
Yeah. What does he say? Does he,
He
get
gets
graphic?
embarrassed.
Oh.
He gets embarrassed.
Oh.
He's embarrassed, but it's funny to me. Like, we talk about it on the radio all the time, so he's embarrassed. And his sisters look at him with such shame, and I'm like,
Oh, man. And then you come on the biggest show and do it even more so.
And his name is, I ain't gonna tell you.
Nah. D.O. Hughley.
But I do know what hotels he go to if y'all
Really
want.
know.
Hey, man, I gotta know if I gotta pick you up now. Come on now.
As long as there's no white vans outside. How not to get shot and other advice from white people. D.O. Hughley, I thank you for coming into the neighborhood, man. Man, it is a pleasure to sit down with you. And like I say, I watch you every day pretty much. I mean, I follow you socially.
Thank you,
and
man.
even the bite-sized clips are so just the information and how much education I get from you, bro. And continue to tear up that road. And I hope everyone goes out and get this book.
Hey, man.